Do you recognize this man? Perhaps he seems familiar in a way you can't quite place, a specter of memory that you can almost hold in your hands, but like a ribbon in the wind, it escapes your grasp. You're almost sure that you can recall his visage. It's on the tip of your tongue, but stubbornly remains unknowable, like the nature of existence, like the end of time itself. If you're wondering why I'm monologuing like a supervillain with a century-long master plan, that's because that's pretty much how this guy, Nikocado Avocado, opened his bombshell video 2 steps ahead. And unlike me, he can kinda back up that master plan claim.
I feel as if I'm monitoring ants on an ant farm. One follows another, follows another, follows another. It's mesmerizing. It's spellbinding.
Not gonna lie, that wasn't exactly how I planned to start my Saturday, but when he takes off the mask and you see the man you once thought to be Nikocado, it's kinda hard to focus on anything else. Hi again, guys, and welcome back to Failure Personified. Me! That video Nikocado posted is currently sitting at 28 million views as of writing this video. TLDR, the skinny, lol, is that these last few years, Nikocado Avocado has been semi-regularly uploading videos across his 3 separate channels of him absolutely gorging on food. And in these videos, he was in the shape of something that many would consider to be, rather large. The last one was as recent as a week ago on his 3rd channel, where in the thumbnail he's got his shirt off, living it up at the Heart Attack Grill. But then, out of nowhere, on his main channel, he pops out with 2 steps ahead, where he is looking like a completely different person. He is more Timothy Chalamet coded than ever. He said this was the greatest social experiment of his life, his final gambit to pull one over on us. Also, I just wanted to let you know that if you use code Kwite on any purchase of G-Subs, that shipping is completely free till Friday only. And with any purchase of a G-Subs tub you make, you will also get a free, exclusive, only available this promotion, Waifu Shaker Cup. My code will also get you 10% off your total purchase. If you use it, it really helps out the channel, and there is only till Friday to take advantage of this. Anyways, back to the video. He spoke pretty candidly in a 2nd channel video about how he did all this. He reveals that apparently he has not made a video in like 2 years. That despite the frequent seeming uploads, he's actually rusty at this thing. Because he made all those videos you've been watching years in advance. Everything we've seen of him in the last few years was recorded ahead of time, so he could go on a crazy transformation completely off camera. The 2 steps ahead video is technically still a mukbang, but something about it is distinctly different. The type of food he's eating is definitely less outrageous and the portions are definitely smaller, but overall there's just a different vibe to the video itself. That menacing opening monologue aside, this whole thing is just a lot more restrained than his usual affair. There's a time where he earnestly talks about why the food he's eating specifically is something he likes. He has some like actual commentary on the appeal of not just the food, but how the process of how it's made factors into the enjoyment of the food.
I told you they're very long. These Chinese guys, they're like pulling them really far in front of you. You can like watch it. It's all open kitchen type of thing.
It's nothing like crazy philosophical, but it's like more of an actual chat over lunch than any of his other videos. Alongside that, instead of him eating next to Orlin, where both of them are crying and arguing while eating Cheetos, he's sharing a meal with his bird, where it comes across how much he cares about this little guy. He's very cute too. I would get a bird, but I don't really want to have one with a cat at the same time. He even came ready with an explanation about why he was letting the bird eat the same food he is.
Mr. Noodle can't taste spice. They don't have the receptors for it, and actually, spicy pepper is really good for their immune system, so the vet and people, they always recommend to give.
The way he's talking, it's like having the curtain pulled back and discovering that the Wizard of Oz is in fact just a dude. I have no idea if this part was a coincidence or if Nikocado had this video loaded in the chamber to drop at the funniest possible time, but he dropped this right after Sunny V2 made a video calling Nikocado's last video depressing, only to reveal that he has been living his best life, and iNabber made a fucking 7-hour video on Nikocado's entire life. Fraser, I have not seen the video, I'm sorry man, but it's really long. I'm sure you put your whole pussy into it, man. But that avocado throwing a wrench into the story you're trying to tell by adding a last-second plot twist is really fucking funny. There was almost a time I considered bringing back my old-ass Dossier series, your age is showing if you remember those, but this time less as like a criticism or expose series and more as just a general analysis of something. One of the people I was going to do it on was Nikocado. I never ended up going through with that, didn't really hold the interest, but I may have dodged a bullet with my name on it because of it. I would have had gallons pounds of egg on my face. This whole thing is perhaps one of the most fascinating twists in niche internet micro-celebrity culture I've ever seen. It's so well written. It even comes with foreshadowing and other literary devices that forecasted this exact thing happening going years back. For one, this is technically a return to form for Nikocado, as some years ago he was vegan and of similar build that he is in his most recent video. It is a shame that he shaved off the McDonald's arch in his hairline though. I never thought I'd get so fond of those things. That said, the same day I'm writing this, Nikocado has also uploaded a video on his third channel of him 2 years ago, where he's reading off that same monologue he gave at the beginning of 2 Steps Ahead.
I feel as if my life has been positioned to where I'm monitoring ants on an ant farm. One follows another, follows another, follows another. It's mesmerizing. It's enthralling. It's spellbinding.
You know, it obviously went through some revisions in the years between the takes, but no matter how you feel about how impressive his plot was, this shows there absolutely was a plot in place. This whole fitness arc was a strat I actually thought might be coming up at some point down the line for years. When the Nikocado skinny pictures hit the second tower on Twitter, I got friends DMing me that I had called it even when I forgot I had told them that theory. I was high as shit in New York when I was talking to them about it. I reckon Nikocado was gonna make a fitness comeback some down the line, and from here, I think the next step for him should be getting incredibly jacked. Get all that weight back, but get it as a bodybuilder. And the thing is, I apparently wasn't the only one thinking that this shit might be coming up either. I'm calling it now. Nikocado is nearing the end of his social experiment. This was all just an internet act. He's actually a health expert. He knew exactly what was his breaking point, and he knows exactly how to drop weight fast. Well. And now for my next prediction, mark your calendars for March 18th, 2025. It will be a special day for King Charles III. Okay, that one really doesn't have to do with this situation at all, but I am getting a parlay started on Mike 273568994 if he ends up being right about this. Let me know if you want in. I'm praying I lose my entire life savings over it. But the reason I thought Nikocado's fitness arc might be his next move is because he basically told us that this was his whole plan like 5 years ago in an interview with James Merriam.
I'm gonna do these mukbangs for another year or two and then see where I'm at, and then I'm gonna lose weight and then show everyone how to lose weight doing my thing, and I don't even know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something with weight loss.
What struck me about that interview at the time that I watched it first was it was the only time I'd ever really seen Nikocado speak so candidly. He was like just conversating normally without all the bluster and the over-the-top caricature he presents himself as online. And to me, it's the closest thing we have to how he speaks in the videos he's been posting recently. It just genuinely feels like he's found his center through this journey he's gone on.
We're back home, Shooby-Doo. And I'm back here with all of you. And it was a long 8 years, wasn't it? It was a long 8 years. And I didn't think that it would have gone this long, but it did. And it was like a bad dream that, yeah, it was like a really bad dream that we were waiting.
We've seen Nikocado have incredibly explosive breakdowns on camera. It was never super clear to me how much of that was powered by his real feelings. You know, an exaggerated way to vent his frustration with circumstances that he might have felt paralyzed by. Not liking having to maintain a persona on the internet that was harmful to him, but being afraid to stop as that persona was how he made his money and paid the bills. There were some people who viewed Nikocado's gambit as completely in character for him, actually. Nikocado Avocado was never spiritually fat. He's a classically trained violinist. He understands discipline and was never out of control. It's been a fairly obvious Kaufman-esque performance art since the beginning. I'm not really sure what being spiritually fat looks like, but it's probably something Peter Griffin-shaped. Some people, however, weren't very impressed by him framing this gambit as a sort of master plan where he got one over on all of us. I could, unfortunately, not suppress a giggle at Wang's artful way of phrasing this, re-recording a YouTube video where I shit my pants and posting it a year from now before suddenly revealing that my pants are actually clean in the present day. However you feel about Nikocado's framing, I am genuinely really happy to see what he's been able to accomplish. The amount of weight he shed in just 2 years is nothing short of impressive, and I think this is objectively the best way his story could have gone to any of us onlookers. He supposedly started this transformation in 2022, which was 2 years after he said he was going to see where he was at with the whole mukbang thing, and then he made a choice and got started with his fitness journey. It was a plan executed to the T that he told us he was going to do it like. I'm not really sure where posting pictures of his gaping asshole factored into the master plan plan, but hey, I got no issue with folk doing that. Who knows, maybe someday I'll be goatseeing for OnlyFans too. Some people have accused him of using Ozempic or some kind of other weight loss drug to assist with the transformation, but even if that's the case, I don't really care. I'm glad it was able to help him out. Obviously, like, don't abuse drugs that you aren't supposed to, but like, it's used for weight loss sometimes. Now, longtime Kwite viewers know that Nikocado is not a new subject on this channel by any means. I've made at least one video talking about him every calendar year since 2020, with the exception of 2023. I was AFK that year. I was fasting from the topic because I'm a really big fan of creating narrative parallels that are actually just big coincidences. That way I can read into them to make up some bullshit. The thing is, in those older videos, I wasn't exactly spitting out any deeply profound thought. I rarely, if ever, do that now. That content was absolutely just me playing into the spectacle of the thing. Watching out of context clips of Nikocado acting out of pocket in a variety of situations. I was making jokes, quite frankly, at his expense. I don't got any malice for the guy, but there was always an undercurrent of understanding that the Nikocado we watch online is not the real guy, and he was playing this character online specifically for the reactions it garnered. Doing this bit for the numbers it brought him, be that money or attention. There were definitely at points less savory things that he did, like things that made people genuinely worry for his life or whatnot, but from my perspective, I was playing into that character Nikocado chose to play on the camera, even if that's what he wanted out of us. We went into the whole thing knowing that was the nature of the thing. Here, I'm similarly enthralled by what Nikocado's doing, but it doesn't feel like I'm watching a train wreck anymore. Instead, I'm interested genuinely in the story of what the homie's gonna do next, and him figuring out what that means for him.
Welcome to Nikocado 2. This is my second channel, and I hope you consider subscribing because I don't even know if people like me or if they want to hear from me.
I can kind of relate to what he's saying here. He spent so long doing one thing and is casting it aside in a very permanent way to try and completely reinvent what he does on the internet. Based on his main channel videos, he's apparently still down to bang that muck every now and then, but as he puts it, in a way that gets back to what he feels mukbangs originally were.
Thanks for watching my black bean noodle mukbang, and I hope you enjoyed your food if you ate with me, which you should have, because that's what mukbang is supposed to be. That's what it was originally for, and that's what I'm trying to bring back to the internet.
This might make me sound incredibly dense, but it never completely clicked that mukbangs were supposed to be the parasocial equivalent of sharing a meal with someone. I might be stupid. Like, on some level, I know that most YouTube videos are supposed to simulate some form of general social interaction. Like, listening to a storytime gameplay video is like talking to your homies about some bullshit when you play split-screen COD Zombies. This is just me and you, best friends shooting the shit together. You should donate money to me, as best of friends do for each other, but only in the direction of me getting money. I guess a discussion over dinner is just something I never really thought you could emulate through the screen. Like, sure, I watch YouTube when I eat dinner, but the video I'm watching usually has nothing to do with the food. And that disconnect on my end probably comes in part from my ideas of mukbangs being of excess and drama, in no small part because most of my exposure to mukbangs was through the lens of the character that Nikocado portrayed. So it's interesting he's the one trying to pull the perception of mukbangs more towards the casual instead of going over the top with it again. That said, it sounds like on his second channel, he's got plans to do different stuff.
I haven't made a video for like 2 years, and this is where I'm posting now on this channel. So I hope you consider subscribing if you want. I'm actually posting more next week, so yeah.
It feels weird in a good way to see this guy so earnest just chin up and all that, and it really does seem like people are interested in whatever he's got going on next, which is pretty cool. It's nice to see someone make a positive change in their life and people being supportive of that. Like, people are rooting for the dude, and some have been latching onto his every word. Like, Nikocado said one line in the first 2 minutes of that 2 Steps Ahead video that got him a very, very dedicated group of glazers. Started treating them like all for one.
So I am the villain, because I've made myself one.
I'll give him that reveal with the mask was cold. Like, it took away that last hint of doubt that this was a prank and that's a different guy under the mask that Nikocado was dubbing over. But I think this guy might be doing a little too much. In terms of being a villain, Nikocado Avocado clears all of Anamanga. His writing is like no other. He wasn't lying when he said he was 2 steps ahead of everybody else and that everything was a social experiment. We will never get someone as interesting and compelling as him. Then, on the other hand, you have guys saying he kind of looks like Scout from Team Fortress 2, because he he has a red shirt and a hat, and also he's a white dude. Probably the nicest comparison to a fictional character someone has ever made about Nikocado. I am not innocent in this matter. With that said, I'm gonna wrap this up here. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see y'all next time.